Hello, this is a brief video about extra credit. So here is the extra credit policy, which is the last page of the syllabus. Um, so there are 30 total points of extra credit up for grabs. If you do them, because extra credit is worth 3%, 0.03 of your overall grade, 100% of those 30 extra credit points equals 3 points that get added to your grade. So if you got 100% in the class and then did the extra credit, you would have 103%. So those 30 points just add 3 points to your overall grade, the way the grades are calculated in Canvas. There are a couple different ways you can get to 30. Service learning we'll talk about when we get to where this stuff is on Canvas. For now, just know that it's community service. You do 12 hours of community service, you get 30 points. That's all you have to do. And that's all you can get credit for. You can't get credit for more than 30 points. Then there's some dynamic learning modules that are on mastering. Those are worth 3 points apiece. I do believe the syllabus that is posted says 5, but that is incorrect. There are 10 of them. You do all 10, that's 30 points. And then there are 6 radio episodes of Radiolab that you can listen to for 5 points each. Or you can mix and match these. You can do some mastering and some Radiolab, whatever you feel like doing. Just don't do more than 30 points worth of work because you won't get credit. So how then do you do this extra credit? You start on the home page where all things are for the class, and you scroll all the way down past all of the weeks to extra credit. Let's talk service learning first. As I said, this is community service. You do 12 hours of community service, fill out the paperwork, turn it into the service learning office. I give you 30 points of extra credit, and the Service Learning Office includes it on your student engagement transcript. So this includes things like club participation, student government, community service, non-grade parts that show what you did as opposed to just getting grades at RVCC. So you have to do all the paperwork if you want that to go on your transcript. I have the service learning places, the places where you can do service learning from the fall. I'm assuming they're pretty much the same for the spring. They have different lists for in-person versus remote. So maybe look them over or decide beforehand which you want to do. These are both big documents, so I don't recommend just opening them and hitting print, because they're like 15 or 20 pages long each. But so you're going to look through there, you're going to find a place that needs someone to do community service, then you're going to contact them and fill out either the in-person form, I should say, so these two here are the in-person forms for registering and for your timesheet. If you do remote, it's one file that has the registration form and the timesheet. So you fill out the registration form, I sign it, that goes to the Service Learning Office. Then you do your community service, where you fill out the timesheet. The person at the Service Learning site signs it, I sign it, that goes to the Service Learning Office. Then you need to open these prompts for community service or for the service learning write-up. And they're basically a bunch of questions that I want you to answer in a 1 to 2 page reflection on how an amazing experience it was and reinforced so many things that you learned in the classroom, and it was just transformative and beautiful, or whatever. So that's service learning. You do that, 30 points. Then I guess we'll do Radiolab next. This is a radio show that I used to really like. It's not as good as it used to be because they talk about like these really cool big topics in science. and you can only cover them so often before there's no new information to present. So right now they do more like human interest, but science-related stories. But these are the older ones, and I think they're all interesting, and they relate in some way to topics covered in anatomy and physiology too. So you're going to click on one of these, and then this is the document that you are going to fill out and submit, either a hard copy or upload. It contains the questions that you are supposed to answer. This is the link that takes you to, so I just clicked on it, and it should take us to the Radiolab website for parasites. It's just loading slow, but there's no way, guts. And, well, it's just working slow. There we go. Guts. So use this link here, not the link in this document, because those links are old. But I didn't want to have to change all the documents, pull them all off Canvas and put them back up on Canvas. So I just included the new link for each episode. So you fill out this sheet as you're listening to the show, and you just answer the questions. The questions are answered by the show in the order that they're written, so it's very straightforward. Each show is like 30 to 60 minutes, depending. So those are 5 points, and I think they're very interesting. I will leave it to you to decide for yourself if you think they're interesting. The only warning I should give is that they do a lot of, they do a lot of sound editing, so they add sound effects, and they put a lot of effort into making it sound interesting so that it's not just an interview between a reporter and a scientist. But some people get frustrated by it because it's got this choppy editing, but it's there so that it doesn't get boring. So there should be 6 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 points apiece, and then the dynamic study modules. So these are in mastering. If you click on it, it should take you, actually it should open the module in Canvas. I forgot it does that. Yours won't look like this. You're a student, so the module will come up. The way these work is that they ask you a question, and then you click on the answer. If you click on it once, it means you're not sure. If you click on it twice, it means you're sure, and then you hit submit, and it tells you whether you were right or not. If you get a question wrong, it keeps asking more questions, and then it comes back to the original question, and you get to try again. So you keep answering questions until you can get them all right and say that you're confident about it. Then they say you have mastered that dynamic study module. They give you your 3 points. You move on to the next one. If you get frustrated by a dynamic study module and stop halfway through, Canvas will give you 1 or 1.5 points, depending on how far you made it through. I will count those partial points, so you don't have to complete a module to get some credit for it. And like I said, there are 10. So if you do the 10 of those, then that's your 30 points. I should give you one heads up about the modules. I can pick the module, but I don't have the power to pick and choose just which questions I want to be in it. So some of the modules contain questions over material that did not show up in the class. So if you're ever doing one of these and there's questions about stuff we didn't cover, don't panic and say, Doctor, I didn't cover this. I'm not going to cover everything that's in the book because that would be impossible. So those are your options. Service learning for 30 points, or some combination of Radiolab and the modules. Just keep an eye on when things are due. I believe right now, oh, that's right. So I have the stuff that is not reviewing the material due by the end of the semester, the last day of the semester, May 3rd. Because the dynamic study modules are a form of review, I have them due by May 8th. This is assuming our final is the following week, either the 9th or the 10th. These dates may change because I don't know where, or not, I don't know. They haven't posted the final exam schedule yet. So that's it. Thanks for listening. Have fun doing extra credit.